What's up, everybody? Steve here. I'm gonna go through 10 reasons why I hate condo living, but a little caveat: I still buy condos, I still live in a couple condos, so don't get me wrong, I still love the condo living, but I'm gonna go through 10 reasons that kind of turn me off of condo living. So this might help you guys out if you guys are considering buying a condo, or maybe you're considering on buying a house and don't know which one's gonna be the best for you. So let's just dive into it. All right, the first one is people are all up in your business. There's a lot of, they call them condo commandos or whatever the case is. And if it's a smaller community, a smaller association, you have people that, you know, they have rumors and they're really just in people's business. They don't have really anything better to do. They'll talk shit. They'll, you know, if for some reason they don't like you or they don't like what you're doing, or they can really just make things a little difficult for you. So keep that in mind if you guys are interested in buying a condo, that you guys are in close quarters, and a lot of times it's small town mentality, so it's something to keep in mind. The next thing is the lack of privacy as well as shared walls. You know, the condos that I buy into, I make sure that, you know, I'm in South Florida, and a lot of the construction out here, especially for hurricanes, they're built with concrete blocks. And I know some condos up north, they're built stick frames, so you can kind of hear through the walls and everything else. So that's something to pay attention if you guys are buying into a condo complex, that you have shared walls. And sometimes even the floor trusses can be wood frames. So you know, if you're living downstairs and somebody's above you, and you might be able to hear them walk across their floor, and it could be loud. And ultimately, there's a lack of privacy depending on the setup. Maybe you have a porch or a lanai, and you might be staring right into somebody else's porch or lanai, or into somebody's windows for that matter. The next thing I don't like about condos are the association fees. Now, condos are good because you can just lock up and go. There's maintenance people. You don't have to deal with mowing lawns and all that kind of stuff. So that is a good thing, but you know, you do pay for that. And in some condo complexes, the association fees can be extremely high, and you're really trying to figure out, you know, is what you are paying, is it adequate to the actual expenditures that's out there? So I've seen some condo associations, you're just like, you know, $600 a month, but what do you really get for it? So a lot of times you can see that, you know, the association fees are really high, and it's just not worth it. So if you guys are buying into a condo, make sure you guys dig into the financials and make sure that, you know, it does make sense, and the money that's allocated for HOA fees are really going to things that, you know, you guys are provided in return for that money. The next thing is, and it kind of relates to the association fees, your association fees will increase if the board, you know, the board that's taking care of the property, and that's all voluntary position, and you can run for the board as well if you're an owner in any association. But what comes is, if there's deferred maintenance and the board has not allocated money properly, you can run into special assessments. So for example, prime example, my condo over in Bonita Beach, that condo had a special assessment because there was not enough money allocated for the roofs. They had to replace the roofs, and on that assessment specifically, I had to come out of pocket with about $3,000. And unfortunately, because of past boards really not knowing what they're doing, or not, you know, as mentioned, allocating the appropriate funds for necessary items like a roof, you guys might run into situations like that. The next thing is the board that you guys have. You know, you can go to board meetings and voice yourself and everything else, but in many cases, the boards are making a lot of decisions on your behalf, and in many cases as well, they don't need your vote. In some cases, a lot of times, if it's a material alteration, they'll need the popular vote, so everybody votes on it. They might need 50%, they might need 70%. It just depends on your bylaws when you're buying into a community association. But the board ultimately makes decisions on your behalf, and a lot of times you don't get a vote on it. So there might be situations where they might change certain things, or change colors or landscaping or whatever that you're not really fond of, and in some cases you might not just have a say on it. So it's really important that whatever association that you buy into, the board has some idea what they're doing, and the board is not leaning one direction or the other. They're listening to the people, they're listening to the community and the other owners at these board meetings, and making sure that they're really taking in all that feedback and that information to make good decisions as a whole. Another thing that I hate about condo living are elevators. Look, and it depends on how good these elevators are, but a couple things is, you know, if you buy into an association and they have older elevators and they're slow, or there's, you know, maybe only a couple elevators for hundreds of units, it can take you forever. You might be waiting time and time again at your elevator just to get up to your floor to go to your unit. Another thing about elevators, like for example, my other condo over in Fort Lauderdale Beach, I'm on the 8th floor there, and it's, you know, the elevators are not that bad, they're pretty quick, but the problem is if you forget something in your car, or you know, you have to go back down, or you know, groceries and all that kind of stuff, lugging that up to the to your place, and then maybe there's shopping carts that they have there, and then you got to bring the shopping cart back down. It just becomes a pain in the ass if it's your day-to-day living. Another thing that sucks about condo living, and I don't really care that much about it, but it's shared amenities. You know, if you have a single family home and you got your own pool, you know, it's just you and your family utilizing that pool. But in a condo complex, you are sharing other amenities like a pool, hot tub, tennis courts, whatever the case is, with other people, and that's something that you just have to deal with. So if you're not the most social person, then condo living might not be for you. Next thing that sucks about condo living are the rules and restrictions and regulations. This is really important that if you guys are in contract or thinking about buying a condo, that you guys get the condo docs and the rules and frequently asked questions, and make sure you guys dissect them thoroughly. Because prime example, there's a condo complex right next to my other one on Bonita Beach, and prime example, you know, I have a pickup truck. You cannot have a pickup truck on that property. If it's a, you know, outsourced maintenance person that's coming to replace a water heater or whatever, that's fine. But your daily driver, you're not even allowed to have a pickup truck. So it's very important that you guys review the rules and restrictions within any kind of condo or master association, to make sure that, you know, you guys understand all the restrictions associated with it. Because, you know, there could be some things in there that just doesn't make sense for you and your family. Another thing that sucks about condos is sometimes they take longer to sell than a single family home. Traditionally, single family homes sell faster, and if you guys have a condo, there might be an oversaturation, and a lot of people don't like association fees, and that's another reason why people will not buy into condo complexes. So if you guys do buy a condo, you know, check out the history of that condo complex and see how frequently they sell, because you might get into a situation where you buy a condo and you might not be able to sell it for months or even years. And finally, in majority of cases, you're going to get less for your money, meaning in most cases you're going to get more square footage. Ultimately, it's just less space in many cases. You know, there are some condo associations that have very large condos, but you know, you pay for them and they're in many cases quite expensive. But altogether, if you have a growing family and you're anticipating more children or whatever the case is, then condo living just might not be for you. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you watching. If you guys are into real estate, personal finance, financial freedom, and business, then you guys might want to consider subscribing. If you got any value out of this, I appreciate a big thumbs up, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks a lot.